Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Shotsuki service for the month of November. We are remembering family and friends who have passed away in the month of November. Let us begin with quiet meditation. Please sit quietly and place your hands together in Gassho. Sensei will ring the bell to begin and end the meditation.
Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Namo Amida.
Please stand for our opening gatha, which is Namo Butsu, which is found on page 174 of the Purple Book, and remain standing for the reading of the three treasures on page 8. Three treasures, one on page 8. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in the life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent and profound and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida.
Namo Amida. The names of the Shotsuki Hoyo honorees for this month will now be read. Those family members and friends observing Shotsuki Hoyo, please come forward for incense offering during the reading of the names. Shotsuki names. Keiko Hatanaka, Tamayo Hirota, Shina Hirota, Buichi Kameoka, Takashi Kawaguchi, Umekichi Kawabata, Mitsuto George Kawaoka, Seiso Donald Kobayashi, Yoshino Matsumoto, Tomo Okamoto, Ichitaro Shigematsu, Sachie Shimizu, Tamezo Takenaka, Shiichi Taniguchi, Tsuruichi Wakino, Hisano Yamamoto, Chikuyo Okazaki, Yoshiko Otani, Esther Mukaida, Reverend Inshu Yonemura, Richard Totman, Juliana Leong Song, Henry Hideo Shimizu, Arthur Shigeo Sugiyama, Sueko Sakaguchi, Mark Mitsunaga, Reverend Giko Abiko, Margaret Wallman, Makoto Sam Okubara, Walton Wood, Yasuo Wada, Azuma Cleveland, Teru Yasumoto, Gary Paulson, Charlotte Richards Yoneda, Perry Rittenauer, Keiko Ishii, Kaz Mukaida, Yoshiko Yamasaki, and Karen Matsumoto. Sensei will now offer Sambujo on page 24, followed by a dedication, and today's sutra chanting will be Amida Kyo on pages 103 to 113.
Ido Today, on this occasion of the Shotsuki service for the month of November, members of our temple families have reverently come before Amida Buddha in memory of their beloved. With deepest reverence and thankfulness for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida, we reaffirm the three homages, Namo Butsu, Namo Ho, Namo Soul. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Please repeat the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, 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 Namanda. 者公職種名の二言直視自中連下大名者に小式証拠大式陽子尺式釈光白式白光微妙高血者利法国道上中尿税空毒将軍仏者利法非部国道調査天学黄金日昼夜六時二遊万だらけ広告修正上位昇誕各位英国上州名家空用他方十万六仏即位直次元と本国本直行業シ利法国ら国道上州尿税空毒将軍仏師者利法非国上修十奇妙雑式市長百国着法務者利過料便が軍名市長聖書州長長や六時水和低温高温延長合根合力七母大分発祥道分行税法合同修上門税恩に開出年仏年功年祖シ利法尿物医師長実世裁法少々小院社が非部国土無産幕州シ利法公部国土商務三幕領司名画教実税商州長改正阿弥陀仏抑量大温泉流園庭少佐シ利法非部国土非風水道商法五十九法ラモ水味妙門利尿百戦中学同時空差門税四社開示年上総指針者利法大部国土上州尿税空毒将軍
We will now have a Dharma message by Reverend Fujimoto.
Namanda, 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 Namanda. Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to be back here again. Thought I mentioned maybe when we do the sutra chanting, the Amida Kyo in particular, maybe some people get thrown off. Lots of times we say the name Shariputra, Shariho, Shariho, Shariho. So in the book it's Sharihotsu, and it gets abbreviated to Shariho. So if you're trying to say that extra syllable, that might delay you to keep up with the beat of the chant. Okay, so anytime you see Sharihotsu, it's Shariho. Okay. That might help us. Okay, so today I thought I would talk about the Homyo and the window of light. Okay, the window of light. And the Homyo, many of you know, most of you know, is the Buddhist name. Okay, so one of the words that when I hear it, the word is kangi, and when I hear it, I always enjoy the thought of it. Kangi means dance in body, rejoice in mind. And so not only happiness in your mind, but your whole body is kind of feeling this sense. Dance in body, rejoice in mind, kangi. And it kind of refers to this awakening, to our Shinjin awareness, awakening, okay? And it's as if this window of light were to emerge. Maybe sometimes when it's cold, you sleep under the covers, right? And then something, your alarm goes off, or you have to go to the restroom, and peek out this window of light. So popping out of the darkness and seeing the light of the world. So this kind of reminds me of kangi and the light of awakening to this Shinjin awareness. So I would like to start with that thought and read this wasan. So please join me in Gassho, and I'll read this wasan from Shindan Shoni. Beams of light, 3,600,000 billion in number, shine brilliantly from within each flower. There's no place they do not reach. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda. So this is a very powerful wasan. I always enjoy reading that. Just such a number, 3,600,000 billion in number, so many beams of light coming out of each flower, coming out of each individual. Okay? And so these are the lights that could be the light of wisdom, light of awakening. Okay? So with that thought in mind, I wanted to share my thoughts about the Homyo, the Buddhist name. And this Buddhist name is given to an individual at special occasions, and it might be the visit. The Bishop of BCA might come to our temple, and we have a special service and ceremony, and people who choose to receive the Buddhist name from the Bishop, they might apply to have this name given, and we each, those who request it, are given this Buddhist name, okay? Or it might be a trip to Honganji, and you would like to get your Buddhist name in Japan from the Gomonchu over there at the Mother Temple. So you put in a special request, and you can go into the ceremony there at Honganji and receive your Homyo from the Gomonchu. For another occasion, might be when the Gomonchu comes here and visits temples in the United States, and arrangement has been made. They come to Enmanji, for example. He comes, and again, a special service like the one that the bishop officiated in, and you might receive a Buddhist name from the Gomonchu at your own temple. Or you might have the occasion, like I did, when I graduated from nursery school at the Fresno Betsuin. So I was 4 years old, and I received a Buddhist name, okay? Graduating from their nursery school before I went to kindergarten. So I don't even remember what that Buddhist name was. I received another Buddhist name when I went to Honganji to become a minister, and certainly that Buddhist name, Joshin, means more to me. I don't recall what the one I received when I was 4 years old. So sometimes people have 1 or 2 or even 3 different Buddhist names given to them at different occasions. And if you have not yet received a Buddhist name, you can receive one at death when you pass away. So more often than not, if you had not received one prior, your temple minister will provide you with a Buddhist name to be given to the family, presented to the individual when you pass away. And it's very nice to get a homyo from the bishop or the gomonchu, but there's also the sense that if you receive it from your own temple, from your minister, there's kind of a closeness and a relationship that you've had with your own minister. Maybe you know each other better, and so the actual name is maybe closer in tune with who you are. Okay, so they each have can have added significance. So recently in Alameda, we had this funeral for Mr. George Taniguchi, and Charmin and I had met him over 12 years ago. He was in Boise. He lived in Boise, and so this funeral was going to be done. Special request to ask me to do it because we had been friends for a long time. We had met his wife and had done his wife's funeral service, and so the son knew that his father wanted me to do this funeral service for him. So we were in touch and we did the Zoom service. We happened to have some of his relatives as members of Alameda. So there were maybe 6 or 8 family members sitting in the pews in Alameda, other family members in Boise, other family members in close to Seattle, Washington. So we had this Zoom service, and the people at the temple could hear me and see me and chant along with me. I couldn't hear the others chanting, and it ends up the people in Alameda, they all Zoomed on their own phone, right? So they could see the other people of their family, and they could hear better when the other members of the family are speaking. They could hear them speaking from their own phone. So kind of an unusual service. And because they were in Boise, the son was in Boise, I told him afterwards, I will give you the Buddhist name, and kind of gave him instructions. So the parents and grandparents were longtime temple members wherever they were, so they were very much accustomed to our traditions. But the 4 children, not so much. They did not go to temple services. They didn't belong to a temple. So I was telling the son, Don, I'll send you the Buddhist name, the homyo, and you can put it near the Obotsudan, the family home shrine, home altar, and probably if you look, you'll find your mother's homyo there, and you could put your father's with your mother's homyo. And 12 years ago, I had provided the mother the Buddhist name Shaku Jin Ko. This means wondrous light, okay? And so wondrous light, referring to the light of Amida, revealing the truths of reality, interrelated, interconnected, interdependent elements, people, animals, conditions that swirl and mix and create this reality that we all live within. So this is my thought of Jin Ko, wondrous light. So some of you might know the Shaku. Shaku means that I am a disciple of the Buddha or a follower of the Buddhist teachings, okay? And so there's a Shaku with like a prefix, and then 2 main characters, Chinese kanji characters, and they can be selected out of the sutras or out of other Buddhist writings or Buddhist teachings. And so these two characters. And so a lot of ministers use those. They might think of the person who's passed away and kind of think of what kind of person they are and think of what two characters would match this person. And my perspective is a little bit different in that the Buddhist name I select is not a description of that person, but a description of Amida. Okay? So the Hoyo guides the mind to the infinite, to our connection to the infinite, to our place in the infinite. So it's, in my perspective, the Hoyo provides a shift in perspective beyond our little minds of possessions, possessive attachments, and suffering. My crying that I lost my father sense, and to something more, connection to something greater than ourselves, towards infinite truth, infinite wisdom, infinite compassion, infinite reality. Okay? So rather than just thinking of my personal loss, the Buddhist name of your mother or father, for example, kind of a gateway to connect to more than just this loss, connecting to this infinite reality that is Amida. So, in that sense, the person we lost becomes our teacher, our guide, our bodhisattva, leading us to this greater perspective, awakening us. Okay? So in this sense, the people we've lost, gone to the Pure Land and returns to this world to bring compassion to suffering beings, to us, to you and me. Okay? We're still crying with the loss, and to understand that they went to the Pure Land, not that they became enlightened, not that they're sitting in some peaceful place in a beautiful setting. This is why there's a saying that once you get to the Pure Land, you find that no one's there. No one's sitting there peacefully resting, because they all come back immediately to help those people who are suffering in this world. So no one's in the Pure Land. So the people who we lose, as if they went to the Pure Land and come back as compassion, helping me to get over my suffering, helping me to connect to this infinite truth, this infinite reality. So this is my understanding. Recently we had a class on compassion from the Alameda, and some of the writings came from a book from a Dr. Shigaraki, and in his books, in a number of places, he writes about when he was a child and losing his mother, okay? And his mother was ill for a long, long time, and in his house, she was in the back bedroom, so it's kind of dark, and all the goings on were towards the front, where the kitchen was, where the living room was, where people would come home to and eat together and leave. But his mother was placed way in the back bedroom. So to see his mother, he would have to go down the hallway to the dark part of the house and to see his mother. So eventually it came to be that his mother was going to pass away soon. So they let the young Dr. Shigaraki know, come home, getting his excuse from school to come home. His mother's going to pass away soon. So he hurried home and got home, and he went to the back bedroom to see his mother one final time, maybe patting her, so Mom, I'm home, I made it home. And she was, in her final minutes and reciting the Nembutsu, Namanda, 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 and continuously reciting this Nembutsu. And so he was waiting patiently, maybe touching her arm and saying the Nembutsu. She finally passed away, and this stayed with him. So
he wanted so badly for her to acknowledge him, that he came home. Now, why couldn't she say my name? Why was she always saying Amida's name and not my name? And so, such a sad scene that he would be struggling with this, but this is kind of like his lasting image of his last moments with his mom, but a driving force. What did this Nembutsu mean? Why did it mean more to her to say Amida Buddha instead of my name? And so this drove him to learn more about the Buddhist teachings. He asked his sensei. He went to Ryukoku University and graduated at the top of his class and became a professor of Shin Buddhism, studying and teaching about the Nembutsu teachings. And so through this, in this way, it's kind of like a haunting story for him that stayed with him for years and decades, but a driving force for him to find this light, this window of light, that he would come to understand this Nembutsu teachings. What does Amida mean? What does this Namo Amida Butsu mean? And how does this work? How does it all fit together? This huge puzzle that he struggled with his whole life. So it became that his mother became his teacher, his guide, his bodhisattva in particular, guiding him towards more. Not just I was a crying little boy missing my mother, but that was there, that was a reality, but it led to more, a greater truth, a greater reality. So that the Homyo, the Buddhist name, might be one such window of light that leads us to deeper truths. The window of light might be this temple, our temple. It might be the image of Amida, or reciting the Nembutsu that draws us and connects us to deeper truths and ultimately to awaken. At home, the window of light may be our Okotsudan, our home altar, where our family names are kept, providing the spiritual light, revealing our path to awaken. We come to the Nembutsu and so many names, mom and dad, maybe grandma, grandpa, but ultimately so many generations that we left separated from our family in Japan or wherever they may be, and not necessarily just Japanese. It could be any culture, wherever we're from. But through this infinite number of family members, they become this procession to guide the way. And in turn, when we pass away, we too become this light, and we provide this light to the next and the next and the next. Who knows who they might be? We don't even have a vision of them yet. But this is our process as Jodo Shinshu followers, Nembutsu followers, following this path to see this light and then to become this light. So please join me in Gassho. I will reread this Wasan. Beings of light, 3,600,000 billion in number, shine brilliantly from within each flower. There's no place they do not reach. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Okay, thank you very much for letting me share this Shotsuki Dharma message, and in particular on the Homyo, the Buddhist name. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your Dharma message, Reverend Fujimoto. Let's see. I was asked to make an announcement. There are BDK 2023 calendars that are in back of the Hondo, so if you would like one, please pick it up on your way out. Are there any other announcements? If not, this will conclude today's service. I would like to thank Reverend Fujimoto for officiating and for his Dharma message. Daryl Yagi for the kancho and setting up the Onaijin. And for the music, Kevin Iwamura coming all the way from Fresno to play today. The November Toban for the flowers, offerings, and obupan. If you have not yet done so, please feel free to offer incense. And I think refreshments will be passed out in the hall because it's cold today. Thank you.